Texan, I have a great nonfiction book for you today. This one is called Fighting to Survive in the Wilderness by Braun, and it is 5 true stories of survival of people who were stranded for whatever reason out in the wild and had to get rescued. So there's 5 stories. I'm going to give you a brief summary of each of them. So the first one is a story about Aaron Ralstow. He was out hiking in the canyons in Utah, and he slipped and fell, and somehow in that fall he managed to land wedged in the bottom of this canyon with a boulder that had pinned his arm down. And after several days and no rescue and unable to get his arm free, he actually took his pocket knife and sawed his arm off. He amputated his own arm so that he could free himself and get help. So that's Aaron's story. You can read all the details. Another story is about a youth soccer team, this boys soccer team in Thailand. And after practice one day, their coach took them exploring in some nearby caves. And unfortunately, a horrible rainstorm, monsoon type rain came and it flooded the caves, and they had to keep moving deeper and deeper into the caves. It took over 2 weeks to get to them. So you'll have to read to find out if they had any survivors or not. Our third story takes place in 1926, so a wee bit in the past, but it takes place in the Arctic. A woman named Ada Blackjack was traveling with a group exploring in the Arctic, and one of their members got sick and their supply ship didn't come, so she was left behind to help care for the sick member of their team while everybody else left to hopefully send back help. And she had to survive for quite a while, fending off polar bears, living in a snow house. So you'll have to read to find out how that went. Another story is about Beck Weathers. He was a climber, and he had climbed quite a few of the tallest summits, and this was the last one, Mount Everest. And there's several base camps, and he had worked his way up all the way to Camp 4 and was having some health issues so that he couldn't go quite to the summit, but he was at the last camp, and he was getting hypothermia, and he was getting sick, and then a terrible storm came, and it was really bad, and they thought he was dead, and they kind of just left him there and went back down to the next camp down, and he actually wandered into camp, and they were all shocked to see him. So you'll have to see how that turned out for him. And then our last story is about Julianne Kopek. She was traveling on a small plane in Peru. It was Christmas break, and she and her mom were on their way down. Her dad was studying wildlife in the Amazon, and her small plane crashed. And she was the only survivor, and she had to wander about in the Amazon jungle for a bit until she was rescued. So 5 wilderness survival stories. They're all really well written, lots of pictures and graphics, and just a great story. Pretty quick read, but if you enjoy survival stories, you'll enjoy this book. It is an ebook as well as a print book that you can check out from our library. Enjoy!